Hey everyone, I'm Leslie. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I've got 5 different projects. First of all, I wanted to show this little hat. I made these last year, and they were a witch's hat garland I got from Walmart. They had about 8 hats on it. I cut them apart and decorated them. Very easy. You can also take a thrifted frame. I added a mold to it, printed a print off a graphics fairy, and added some spider webs. These were also printed on graphics fairy, and it's a set of tags for Halloween. You can tie them to your pumpkins. I use mine on the witch's broom I make in this video. There's so many things you can do. Gift tags. Next up, I got these pumpkins at Dollar Tree, and they're stackable pumpkins. They had this smaller size for $1.25, and this larger set was $7. We're going to give these a makeover. I'm also going to be making a witch's broom using this vintage spindle and greenery I got from Hobby Lobby, 40% off. I was very happy with how this project turned out. Project number 1, we're going to take the smaller of the stackable pumpkins, and I'm going to be using Mod Podge in the matte finish, and we're going to take old book pages and decoupage these 3 pumpkins. Here I'm using water to tear out little pictures, little spooky pictures that I'll also be decoupaging on the pumpkins. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the book pages decoupaged onto the pumpkin. You just rip off random pieces and fit them onto the pumpkin. I put the Mod Podge down and then lay the strip of paper and also go over the top of the paper with a coat of Mod Podge. I think this would be a fun project for kids. I set that aside to let it dry, and I decided I wanted the stem to be a little bit bigger. So I took some foil and just made a shape that I was happy with. And now I'm taking masking tape and I'm going to cover the foil. I let the hot glue dry. Now I'm going to be taking some of the masking tape and I'm going to also add all around the stem to tie it in with the pumpkin. Once I have everything taped down, I will be taking the book pages and the Mod Podge and decoupaging the stem. After I'm done with the stem and it had time to dry, next I'm going to take just a black paint pen and draw on the pumpkin face. I just want to add right here, if you're not comfortable drawing a face, you can print out patterns on your computer onto your printer of pumpkin faces and cut them out and then just decoupage those. Now I'm going to be taking DIY paint in the color Layered Chocolate, and I'm going to give the stem 2 good coats. I also take the color Tarnished Pearl and I give some highlights onto the stem just to give it some dimension. Now I'm going to be taking just little bits of pictures and sayings that I cut out and decoupage those on. Now we're going to continue with the rest of the pumpkin, adding the book pages. I give it 2 good coats of Mod Podge to seal in the paper. I also start adding some of the spooky little pictures to the pumpkin. Now I have my 3 pumpkins stacked together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between each pumpkin and add strips of the book pages to tie it all together. You could either do it separately like this, or you can stack the pumpkins together and do all 3 at one time. It was just easier to me to handle all 3 pieces separate. Once that was complete, I'm going to finish the pictures and the little spooky sayings and decoupage those just in random spots. To finish him off, I added some black lace, black roses, and glued a few little spiders all around him. And this project is complete. He was a lot of fun. Now for project number 2. We're going to be taking the larger of the stackable pumpkins and give it a makeover. I want to give this one more of a shabby chic French country look. I wanted this set of pumpkins to be used all of fall. I didn't want it just to be something for Halloween. So I'm going to be taking this IOD sunflower mold and make all my castings from it. And I want it to have leaves, draping, and a pretty sunflower. When I bought these pumpkins, I wasn't really sure which direction I was going to go with them. They also had a set of stackable pumpkins in the color white. If I would have known I was going to do this with it, I believe I would have went with the white. It would have been easier. It wouldn't have taken as much paint to cover it. So here I'm just going to play with the castings, and I'm using air dry clay because I can move them and bend them around the pumpkin. So I'm just going to make several castings and start laying them out on the pumpkin till I'm happy with the way they look. Here I'm just going to be taking my palette knife and I'm going to remove some of the clay underneath the flower just so it will lay flat. Once I'm happy with the positioning of the castings, I'm going to be taking my Tight Bond Quick and Thick and get everything glued down. Once I get everything glued down, I will be using painter's tape to hold it in place, and then I'm going to set that aside and let this dry all night. The next day, I take Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and I'm going to give all three pieces a good coat and let that dry. I gave these a couple of hours to dry real good. Now I'm going to be taking my Dixie Belle Sea Spray and adding it to the chalk paint and mix that up real good. I want my pumpkins to have a little bit of texture, plus this will help with the coverage. Once all three pieces were dry, I'm going to take my Minwax polyacrylic sealer and I'm going to give each piece 2 good coats. Once the sealer was dry, I'm going to take Paint Couture Antique and Glaze in the color Van Dyke Brown, and I'm going to go over all 3 pieces. I did not wipe back the stem because I wanted it to dry. I wanted it to be darker. I just wanted to add here, you can use a wet wipe to try to pull back if it's too dark. I gave the glaze a little bit of time to dry, and now I'm going to just be taking my glue gun and kind of put a few little spots of glue to help hold them together. I do end up adding some embellishments at the top, some leaves that I got from Dollar Tree. Now for project number 3, we're going to make a witch's broom using a vintage spindle and some greenery that I got from Hobby Lobby at 40% off. I picked out greenery that looked like it would have been something she foraged from the forest to make her broom. I'm going to use my hot glue gun to hold the branches in place. It won't be all I use. I will be taking wire and tightening down around to hold them in place. But this will just help stabilize it and keep them in place until I get the wire put on. I'm just going to play around with the branches until I get it to look just like I want. I want the broom to have kind of a wispy look. Here I'm taking the 2 pieces of wire and I'm going to twist them tightly to hold the branches on the spindle. I'm going to take the leftover greenery and go around and fill in spots where I think it needs some more. I'll be taking some jute twine and wrap around to cover the wire and cover the ends of the greenery. Once I have it looking like I want, I'm going to give it a little dab of hot glue and tie off the twine. To finish this broom, I'm going to drill a hole in the end of it and attach some leather for it to hang with. And I will also be finishing it with one of my spooky little tags as an embellishment. This witch's broom project is now complete. I love the way it turned out. You can hang it on a pegboard, prop it up on a shelf, just lay it anywhere. It's so cute. Now for project number 4, the haunted mirror. This was my favorite. You are not going to believe this mirror I bought probably 3 years ago. It was vintage and it's plastic. So I thought, what am I going to do with this? It's one of those things you think, why did I buy this? But I knew it would be used one day. It's been sitting in a stack of frames and I forgot I even had this. And the thing about it is, it was the absolute perfect decrepit color for this project. Right here, I'm just finding the center. I'm going to put 2 holes at the top and 2 small holes at the bottom because I'll be using wire to hold my skeleton in place. The little stick of leaves I'm going to be using on the white pumpkins with the molds on it. But I want to coffee stain them first. And then I'll be adding those onto the pumpkins, which you'll see at the final pictures. So I'm going to get the leaves coffee stained and set them aside to dry. I will also be taking the creepy cloth and get it coffee stained and set it aside so it can dry. Alright, here's the star of the show. This little skeleton I got at Dollar General along with the creepy cloth. The skeleton was $15. I'll be using my Waverly Antique and Glaze mixed with water. The skeleton was too white. I wanted him to have more of a dark and decrepit look, like he's been laying in dirt for 100 years. I let the antique and glaze kind of sit on it and let it start drying a little bit before wiping back, depending on how dark you want it. The skeleton was actually too long for the mirror, so what I'm going to do is break his legs off, and I will be staining those also. But I'm going to use them with a brown velvet ribbon and tie it as a bow. Here I'm just taking some DIY paint in the color Little Black Dress, and I'm just giving the eyes and the nose a little bit darker color. Here I'm just going to take a small bundle of sticks and some wire and attach this to the bottom of the mirror. I'm just going to be using a little bit of hot glue just to kind of help hold the skeleton securely until I can get it wired down. I will be attaching a wire into the two holes in the bottom, and then his head I will be attaching the wire into the two holes and tying off on the back. I want to take some of the green moss and not only give it a little more creepy look, but I want it to help hide the wires. Next, I'm going to be taking some wire and I want to attach his two hands like he's holding the candle. But you will still be able to pull the candle out if you need to change the batteries. Once the creepy cloth was dry, I'm going to take it and drape it over the whole mirror. I'll use hot glue in a couple of spots to hold it in place. I took a brown velvet ribbon and his leg bones and attached them to the top as just an embellishment. Now for the final project number 5. I was inspired by Bailey with Reclaimed Grace. She made a wreath like this and I absolutely loved it. I want this for my front door. I had the wreath, I had all the greenery. The only thing I had to do was order the little black crows from Amazon, and I was so excited when they got in. So here I'm just going to be taking the greenery and zip tying it until I'm happy with the way it looks on the wreath. I wanted this greenery to be just spooky looking and just dripping off the grapevine wreath. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. Thank you, Bailey, for such a great project. It was so much fun. That was from Bailey at Reclaim Grace. I had so much fun making these 5 projects. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you.